No one knew. Not their managers, not their families, not even their millions of fans. Years later, when that letter Ronaldo wrote fell into Messi's hands, the truth was revealed. It was a cool spring evening in 2025. As Barcelona's warm breeze rustled the palm leaves, Lionel Messi was making a brief visit to this ancient city with his family. Their goal was to gather up their long-neglected old belongings and perhaps even bid farewell to the past. To this end, he went to Camp Nou, home to the brightest memories of his football career, to empty his personal locker. Opening this small, forgotten space, untouched for years, he found a small, unassuming leather notebook on one of the shelves. There was no writing on the cover, no name, no date, no markings of any kind. Curiously, he opened the pages and found a carefully folded, yellowed piece of paper hidden in the heart of the notebook. It was letter paper. At first, he thought it was his own handwriting, perhaps a note from his youth, a memento. But when he unfolded the paper completely, the signature he saw chilled his blood, halting time. Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi, shocked by the moment, immediately looked around. The corridor was empty. If anyone had walked in at that moment, it would have felt like a brazen breach of privacy. Because what he held in his hand was much more than just a message. It was a confession, a farewell letter, perhaps written in its purest form. And each line gave a brand new, unexpected meaning to the greatest, most iconic rivalry in football history. Chapter 1. A Letter from Beyond Time. The letter was dated 2013. This coincided with Ronaldo having just extended his contract with Real Madrid at the peak of his career, and locked in a breathless battle with Messi for the Ballon d'Or. But the letter wasn't a triumphalism. On the contrary, it revealed Ronaldo's weakest, most vulnerable side, one he perhaps never shared with anyone, not even his closest confidants. It was the polar opposite of his public image. Leo, the letter began. The letters spilled onto the pages in a whisper, as if a confession from the writer's deepest depths. I know you'll probably never read these lines. Perhaps this letter will never reach its destination, lost forever in a drawer, but I had to write. Because every second I spent on the pitch was filled with you, every move shaped by your presence. Every goal you scored was my fuel for the next match, my unstoppable motivation. Playing with you in the same league, in the same era, reminded me to always push myself. Without you, I might never have gotten where I am today. It was impossible to describe what was going through Messi's mind as he read the lines. This letter, the exact opposite of the enmity and eternal rivalry perceptions meticulously constructed and headlined by the media for years, was written with incredible sincerity. This was not a simple message, but the most naked expression of an invisible bond, mutual respect, and even a silent admiration between two great athletes. Ronaldo continued the letter. The words, unlike his usual confident demeanor, seemed to flow with a sigh. No matter how cool, ruthless, and unemotional I appeared on the pitch, watching you always stirred my heart. There was always a knot in my throat. Most of the time, I envied your unparalleled talent, the magic you created when you took the ball. Sometimes I envied your natural grace, the admiration you earned with every goal you scored. But most of all, I respected your determination, every ounce of effort you showed on the pitch, your desire to surpass yourself in every match. I could never tell you this, because there was competition, that invisible wall that always rose between us. Because there were cameras recording our every moment, analyzing our every expression. Because maybe we were stronger this way, this competition pushed us to become better versions of ourselves. But I want you to know that I always had these feelings for you. As Messi squinted at the yellowed lines, memories of the past flashed through his mind like a film strip. Fierce El Clásicos, glittering Ballon d'Or ceremonies, the invisible tension between them, the media-fueled debates about who was better, all of them took on a whole new meaning now in the light of this letter. Those fights, those stern glances, those verbal duels. Perhaps they were all manifestations of that deep, hidden respect and an unrecognized friendship. In the middle of the letter, Ronaldo practically opened his heart to another confession. A moment of hesitation, a missed opportunity, and an eternal regret. "I once saw you in a restaurant in Madrid. I was sitting at the table next to you, eating your meal without being aware of your presence. I didn't dare come up to you, didn't dare greet you. My heart was pounding. What would the people around you say? How would the press, what would the headlines be like? But I just wanted to say, 'How are you, Leo?' and maybe start a casual conversation." That moment passed, and with it the greatest opportunity of years, perhaps of my life, passed me by. Messi paused there. The sentence struck him unexpectedly, right in the heart, because he remembered that evening so vividly. He had indeed felt a stranger's gaze at that moment, as if someone's eyes were on him, but he had never looked back. He could never have known that moment had held such significance. It was a striking and painful example of how rivalry can cloud human relationships, how even the purest feelings can be hidden behind walls. Two legends, so close to each other, had truly been so far apart. The letter not being delivered. So how did this letter end up in Messi's locker? Why had it remained hidden there, hidden from view for years? This question was the biggest mystery gnawing at Messi's mind. A few days later, Messi decided to meet with Ferran, the club historian, who meticulously preserved every piece of the club's memorabilia dedicated to the archives of Camp Nou. Ferran had preserved many important items in the past: jerseys, trophies, even the personal belongings of former players. He had taken over, practically becoming the club's living memory. The astonishment on Ferran's face when Messi showed him the yellowed letter was palpable. He remained silent for a moment, studying it carefully as if memorizing every letter. Then, taking a deep breath, he said, "Ronaldo's former physiotherapist, Javier, might have left this letter. He came to the club frequently at the time, especially for injury treatments. Perhaps it was accidentally placed in your locker. Perhaps it was intentional, who knows? Perhaps Javier knew about this secret connection between the two legends and wanted this letter to one day surface. But the real question is, why didn't Ronaldo ever send this letter? Why did such a special message never reach its intended recipient?" This question kept circling in Messi's mind. Perhaps some words should simply remain on paper, a reflection of his soul. Perhaps Ronaldo had written that letter to find relief, to unburden himself, and to try to forget. Perhaps he knew it would never be delivered, but now, all these years later, these lines had surfaced. Was this a twist of fate or a deliberate interference with the flow of history? Messi's decision. After reading the letter and considering it for a few days, Messi made his decision. He couldn't bring himself to remain silent, to turn his back on this unique confession. This letter mirrored not only Ronaldo's feelings, but also the feelings he himself had carried for years. It deserved a response. He picked up his black pen and began his own. The words, like Ronaldo's, flowed from his heart. "Cristiano," he began, a deep reverence palpable in each letter. "I don't know if you will ever see these lines. Perhaps this letter, just like you wrote, will vanish by a twist of fate. But I want you to know that sharing the same field with you was one of the greatest honors of my career. You were a force that always made me better, pushing me to give more in every match. I always saw you not as a rival, but as someone who made me better. Your unparalleled ambition, your unending determination inspired me. And if these lines ever reach you, I want you to know that I no longer feel like I share a rivalry, but a much deeper respect and an unbreakable friendship. This letter will seal that invisible..." The weight of years seemed to have been lifted from his shoulders. This was an intimate dialogue between two human souls, transcending a mere football rivalry. 2 weeks later, the world of football converged in Saudi Arabia for a major charity match. Whether by coincidence or by a twist of fate, the organizers had arranged for Messi and Ronaldo to once again be in the same city, even on different floors of the same hotel. It was as if a stage had been set for the delivery of this letter. As he descended into the hotel lobby, Messi took a deep breath. He felt both excitement and a slight nervousness. He mustered his courage. A few minutes later, he saw Ronaldo enter the lobby doors. He was wearing a comfortable tracksuit, his usual charismatic smile on his face. Messi pulled the carefully folded letter from his pocket. He held it in his hand, hesitating for a moment. His heart was racing. At that very moment, their eyes met. A momentary pause, a silence. And Ronaldo approached and smiled warmly. "Are you waiting for me with something, Leo?" he asked. His voice sounded warmer, more sincere than ever. Messi didn't answer. The words were stuck in his throat. He simply held out the envelope in his hand. It extended to Ronaldo like a silent invitation. Ronaldo glanced at the envelope, took it from Messi, paused for a moment, then, with a slight nod, went inside. Nothing was said that day. Not a word was spoken between them. But everything was explained. With glances, with the handing of the envelope, with that silent smile, the two legends had now transformed the invisible bond between them into a tangible reality. The true content of the letter was never leaked to the media. Both players chose to keep this special moment private. However, after that charity match, the two players' behavior on and off the field had changed significantly. They no longer treated each other like arch rivals, but like friends, with a respect and understanding that transcended their years-long rivalry. Their passing when the ball went out, their touching of each other's shoulders after a play, even their small smiles on the field, did not go unnoticed by the attentive eye. A photo taken after the match went viral, sweeping social media. The two, alone in the locker room, laughed and talked as if freed from the weight of the world. There was no trace of rivalry, no trace of hostility in his eyes, only sincerity and a genuine smile. And in the background of the photo, Messi's bag, left unzipped on the chair, was clearly visible inside. Ronaldo's yellowed letter. This photo served as silent proof to millions of fans that the relationship between the two legends was far deeper and more human than the media portrayed. That letter remained a silent yet eternal symbol of friendship and respect, not written into football history, but etched deep within the hearts of two great men.